Since the last time it was on the dyno, it's had quite a few little changes. Motor's been apart. He put it back together and swapped over cams to our BX 2.2, and then also, I'll show you guys, had an issue with the Precision PT88 that was on there, and went to VS Racing G45-1600, or the 8089. It's actually a 80mm inducer and 82mm exducer on the turbine side. The 80mm is the inducer on the compressor side. I'm really liking these G45 turbos. I have one on the Supra. It does very well. It did a lot better than I expected it to, and the response is very, very good for a turbo that size. So I'm excited to see what this will do, see what we can pull out of her. We may need to go to a larger exhaust housing. This has the 115 on it, and we're trying to get it to get online on the foot brake a little quicker, so we wouldn't have to use nitrous or anything like that. So we'll see where we start choking with this turbine housing, and we may step up to the 125, I believe, is the next step. And then they have a 140 if we really want to get rowdy and see how much boost this turbo will make on this motor. Of course, got the BoostX Motorsports blow-off valve on there, Gen 1 blow-off valve. Should be looking for a Gen 2, pretty badass little design we got going on here shortly. Alright, so a couple things happened on that pull. We had the throttle body boot pop off, which is probably a good thing. She was heading towards 20 pounds of boost. We had 0% on the boost control solenoid, a lot higher than it should have been. So first thing this morning, tested to see if the wastegate was opening. Quick little thing to do that helps not only with testing but actually installation too, is to get a little regulator and hook it up to your air supply, regulate it down, and then you can check and see if the gate's opening. We got about 35 pounds on her. We're up to about 35 right now. You can hear it leaking, and wastegate's not moving. So we do have an issue there. So we're gonna tear this thing down, see if we can find the issue, or we may swap another gate onto it and keep going. But luckily, I mean, we do have a fuel cut set up in the factory ECU as a boost cut, and I guess luckily this boot popped off as it was starting to skyrocket. So we'll get that fixed and get her back rolling again. So this tile gate, what's that? Yeah, tile gate, 44mm. She is no bueno no more. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap her out to one of the VS Racing 44mm. Had pretty good luck with these guys. I actually run one on my personal truck, and we'll go through, double check the spring on that. It comes with a couple extra springs here that we can adjust and set the way we want. We're probably going to start with 10 or 11 pound spring, and then get it back on the vet and get her back together. Now here's a little thing if you're not too familiar with turbos and wastegates, and you're putting together your first turbo build. We run into this a lot where people will forget to put the fire ring in the wastegate. It does take a little bit of effort to put the wastegate back on because you're actually preloading the valve inside the wastegate. There's a trick you can just use the air, just like we're doing, to test the wastegate to pull that valve in, release the pressure on it so you can put it together a little bit easier. But you have to have this in there. It's a valve seat. It's called a fire ring. If you don't, you can see, get exhaust escaping around here. Car doesn't make any boost, and you wonder why your exhaust sounds like or your wastegate sounds like a lawnmower. Yeah, so just remember, fire ring, in gate. Oh, there we go. That's perfect. So here's a little trick you can do if you're installing a wastegate and it's in an odd location, or you can't really put a lot of downward force to preload the fire ring, or you have a crazy high spring pressure set in there. You can take regulated shop air, make sure it's regulated, set it a little bit above the spring rate of the springs in the gate, and then you can hook up a 1/4 inch air line to it and put it on the bottom of the gate. And as long as the gate's in good condition, you just give it a little tap of air and it'll pull the plunger out, and the fire ring will sit a lot better. And so you're not fighting the force of that against you when you're trying to put the V-band on. And so what you can do, if it's leaking down quickly, I tend to put a zip tie around here while I'm working on it so I don't have to continue to keep hitting it. Now, if you give it some and it comes just instantly right back, or you're hearing a bunch of air leaks, then most likely you have a leak in your diaphragm, or you have an issue around the shaft. But return like this, a slight air leak, slight air bleed is normal. But yeah, just a little trick to get some of these stubborn gates on. Got the wastegate on, got the coupler back on there, a couple clamps tightened up that were a little bit loose. We're gonna try her again, see what she does. So check the plugs. Plugs look good. They did have a little bit of an odd smell, so I talked with the owner and he said that the E85 that was in here might be a couple years old. So we went ahead, drained the E85, put some fresh stuff in there, and we're gonna do a poll, see if that might have fixed the misfire issue. Getting a little late here. Valentine's Day, I'm probably going to get in trouble staying this late, but it's all for Boost. So let's check it out and see if we have the issue fixed. So that appeared to be the issue, was the old E. Got some good E in there, around 13 pounds still. I mean, it touched on 14 for a split second, but 886, 793, probably do one more pull in the morning, or sometime during this weekend. I gotta get out of here. The wife will kill me. I'm staying late on Valentine's Day. No bueno. And then we'll start turning the boost up. All right, Sunday fun day. So here on a weekend, just got the Silva back unloaded. Got to address a couple little things on it, make sure it's ready to go for the season. 540 big block, couple hair dryers, not in a cool down E85, not a Boost specific built 540, basically a crate 540. Just wanted to make a little more jam in it, and so we put it on a small tire, and yeah, just getting it ready for the season for Jack so he can make some 8-second passes. And back in with Vette. And so turned out it was the fuel, so we put some fresh E in there. On 13 pounds we made just over 880, and now we're going to try to turn her up a little bit and see if we can crack $1,000 with her. See if we can crack $1,000 under 20 pounds, which will really show what a proper cam and turbo setup will do. We went from the Precision 88 to the G45-1600, which is an 80, and then a cam that had in the, I think it was like in the 235 or 236. It's like a 235 or 236 and a 230 with I think a 630 lift or something like that. It was a custom grind, but we went to our BoostX 2.2 camshaft, and she seems to be a little happier with all that. So Sunday I didn't get in trouble with the missus on Friday, on Valentine's Day, so all good there. I am still alive. That is always good. So yeah, Sunday weekend to make some power. So we made 1,003 and 947 torque at 18 pounds. We have some timing pulled out in the mid-range, just because the current boost controller that's on it, we don't really have a good boost by RPM, and this turbo comes on pretty hard down low, and that 947 foot-pounds of torque is a little much in my opinion for the rods that are in there. They're just some kind of Chinese rods, I believe. So ideally I'd like to keep a flatter torque curve than this. It's kind of tapering off a little bit. We just can't prop the boost up. Yeah, it hits about 18, around 18 here, tapers down to about 16 and a half out here. And we're only revving to 6,800. This cam and turbo really get online really quick. It's like I said, it's the VS Racing clone of the G45-1600, the 8089. Here, we'll go check it out. It's got the 1.15 housing on it. And really we need to go to the one of the larger housings, 1.28 or 1.4. I think they have 4.4, so 1.28 would probably be the best with this when we have better ECU in it, or at least a different ECU that we can do boost by RPM and be able to prop that up on the back end. It did smoke a little bit on the run. What we found out is the catch can, get this open here, the catch can is, the air filter on it is fairly saturated. This engine is a little bit on the looser side, and after a couple pulls with that saturation, the engine just can't vent, and so it starts to push a little bit of oil out of the valley cover. You can kind of see that there, a little bit out of the valve cover on that side. So what he's going to do is probably add another catch can, get a new air filter on this one, and vent the valley cover as well. I think we dodged a bullet with not pushing the rear or front main out on this. Run right before this, we did blow off an intercooler boot down low, got that fixed. So this overall fairly successful. Made 1,000 horse on less boost, about 2 or 3 pounds of boost less timing than the previous setup with the 88, with the Precision PT88 and the other camshaft that was in there. And this makes almost 100 foot-pounds of torque more, and it carries it from 4,000 pretty much out towards 6,500 or so. So we're going to make a couple adjustments, change some of the shift points since it is making power sooner and doesn't need to rev to Kingdom Come in order to get the turbo online. So we're going to make a couple adjustments and see how she fares on the street. She may come in a couple months or so with a larger exhaust housing and the better ECU, and see if we can make over 11, maybe 1,200 or so. But overall, not too bad.